Hi, welcome to this video on Blue Prism ATA02 exam guidelines and introduction. ATA02 exam is a technical architect exam which tests a candidate's knowledge on designing various Blue Prism component. So there are two flavors of technical architect exam of Blue Prism as of today, that is 20th of August 2018. Um, so right now in the market we have two versions of Blue Prism, which is version 5.x and the latest version which is version 6.x. The technical exam for version 5.x is ATA01, and the version for the version 6.x it is ATA02. I suggest whosoever is listening to this video to prepare for the latest version, because that is, as I said, that is the latest version in the market, and that will be valuable add to your resume and your technical skills. Before we go forward, I want to introduce myself. My name is Harsh Singla. Right now I'm working on Blue Prism projects, on multiple Blue Prism projects as a technical architect, and I recently cleared my technical architect exam from Blue Prism. I have total 11 years of IT industry experience, where I worked on multiple development as well as multiple kind of support and designing projects. So I wanted to prepare this video because I recently cleared the technical exam for Blue Prism, and I did not find any valuable content available online, um, free of cost as of today. At least I am not aware of any such course which is available for everyone without spending too much of fortune. So I just wanted to help other students, I should say, who want to appear for this exam and try to test out their knowledge. I on the screen I have shared my LinkedIn profile URL. So whosoever is interested, please contact with me so that we can answer any questions that you guys have. So let's get started. So with my personal experience, I should say the Blue Prism exam is a from medium to high difficulty level. The reason being, there are total 45 questions. I should say, for any certification, that's my personal belief, that's a kind of low total number, because if you want to pass that certification, that is ATA02, so you should have, or you should score 70%, which is approximately 32 questions out of 45. So in that regard, in terms of number of questions that you need to act correctly, that is not very, you can say, you don't have very much space there, you have to correct it 32 questions. And being on top of that, there are multiple questions, multiple choice questions and stuff like that. So you can get a question with a single option correct, you can get a question with 3 to 4 answers correct. So you have to select all to get a complete score, or to get a full score for that particular question. So I listed it three major points, like what, who, and how one can achieve the Blue Prism Technical Architect certification. For the first thing, what we need to start preparing for Blue Prism Technical Architect certification. Or what, in other words, what we expect, or what once we'll clear the exam, what we'll get from that. So first point is, obviously one will learn how to design all the Blue Prism components depending upon the use cases that they are working on. And obviously all the component needs to be provisioned with the best practice from the and component vendors perspective, like if we talk about SQL database, so all the best practices has to follow, and similar with the application server or other virtual components that we have. Then the other thing is, obviously once we clear the exam, we can, we can get a certification which we can showcase to, to the world, to show our achievement for ATA02 exam. The next is, who should prepare for this exam. The first is, whosoever wants to learn RPA, because this is pretty new as of today as well. This RPA field is pretty new, and on top of that, it's a very interesting field. It's a very you can say it's a very fast field going forward. It's expanding with a very great pace. So whosoever wants to enhance his or her skills in the RPA field should go for the certification. It's really a value add to one's technical skills. And the second thing is, anyone who has at least 6 months experience, hands-on experience on Blue Prism, at least I should say version 5.x onwards, because I know that as of today, although we have the version 6.x in the market available, but there are a few clients, there are few users, I should say, who are using version 5.x as well. So and with my personal experience in setting the exam, I should say, with 5.x experience, anyone can clear the exam with all the concept understanding. And the most important point is, whosoever has the learning attitude, um, who he or she can very well clear this exam. Now, how to clear this exam? The very basic, I should say, the very basic requirement is that there are multiple components involved in designing a Blue Prism environment. It have the interactive client, it have the runtime resources, then it has the application servers, then the database server, obviously, which is the core critical component of the Blue Prism deployment. So each and every layer of the environment needs to be understood properly inside and out to clear all the exam questions. That is, I should say, with my personal experience, that is the main requirement. And obviously, as I mentioned earlier, there are 45 questions, and you have to clear for at least ATA02. You have to clear 70% marks, which is around about 31.5 or 32 questions out of 45. So that is how we can crack it, this exam. So with this, let's get started with a bit of introduction, what to expect in the exam, and what all components have been involved. So within this video, I will limit myself with the introduction, and I'll add more details in my upcoming videos on this. I hope it will be helpful for everyone who is listening to this video. So the scope of the Blue Prism Technical Architect ATA02 exam is, it, as I mentioned earlier, it involves all the infrastructure related component. That is, again, I'm saying, that is the very much, you can say, basic requirement of this exam. I felt that one has to understand it very thoroughly and very clear and crisp understanding on the infrastructure components, like how to implement those components, how to monitor those components effectively, depending upon the use cases on which we need to deploy this Blue Prism environment. Then at the server level, provisioning information also we need to know. There are multiple questions on it in the exam. How to provision various components, specifically the database, which is the core critical component, which has all the process related information stored. So the provisioning of the database server is the main, I should say, uh, information that one has to have when sitting in the exam. The different, you can say, different component in this would be um, how to provision a database server, capacity of the database server, then the best practices of on the databases, like take the backup regularly, how to clean up the database and stuff like that. All those things needs to understand, and the reasoning of each and everything needs to be clear. Then obviously the next thing is security, which is for any application, not just Blue Prism, any application in the world. This is the main designing component for every technical architect to consider the security of that particular deployment. So different layer in the exam, it will the exam will touch different layers of the security, different flavors of the security, how to achieve security, in term of user access, in term of the communication between different components, how to secure the data uh, at rest as well as in transit, when the request is flowing between runtime resource and the application servers, and vice versa, and from interactive client to application server, etc. And obviously the main important term in term of security is the communication. The data security is at most important, and how to achieve it, like whether it will be a certificate based authentication, whether it will be a .NET remoting level certification, whether it will be a TCP level security, and stuff like that. So I think if I need to give a rating of these 4 points which I listed in my slide, I should say number one is the infrastructure components. Then the number two is the security. Number third is the server and database provisioning. Number fourth is network connectivity, and the communication between all the components in the Blue Prism deployment. That is one of the topic that one has to understand completely. So as I mentioned earlier, anyone who has experience of at least 6 months can go for the certification. And study material is provided by Blue Prism. So one has to has a Blue Prism portal account to get those to get all those PDF files. Those are not very big PDF files. These are very small PDF files. As I mentioned earlier, we first just need to understand the core concepts. The exam is not more of the major area, or you can say vast areas. It is covering on the major or the very important aspects of the designing of Blue Prism, and that is the reason those PDF files are not very big. But one has to understand each and every component at very depth, and very basic understanding needs to be there, and clear and crisp understanding should be there. So the pre-request of this exam is, as I mentioned, one has to have a portal account on the Blue Prism portal account, because though that portal ID will be used when you are registering for Blue Prism exam or Pearson site. I have listed the URL to register the Blue Prism. To register Blue Prism certification, it will cost you $125 USD dollars. And if by any chance you fail in your first attempt, then you have to have a 1 month gap before attempting it for the second time. So those are pretty much the prerequest for this exam ATA02. And with this I think I'll stop here, and I'll put uh, detailed information in my upcoming videos of each and every component, and I'll try to explain it using my channel. uh, Please subscribe to my channel, and then you'll see how we can help each other going forward. And as I showed you in my first slide, please contact me on my LinkedIn profile, and I will be happy to answer any question that you may have. Thank you.